On today's episode of the Gripe Session, we're talking about things that agents just really shouldn't do on social media. There's a lot of conversation about it, but what's the real answer?
It's Gripe Session time with your host, George Wanaka.
It's about nothing.
Discussing everything from real estate, current events, a little bit of everything, and the annoying little things that just tick you off.
You can't handle the truth.
What? You didn't know?
Here's your host, George Wanaka.
Your ass better call somebody.
What's up, everybody? How we doing today? Happy Friday, and welcome to today's edition of the Gripe Session. I am your host. My name is George S. Wanaka. I am a realtor, appraiser, and mortgage broker out here in Staten Island, New York. I am the owner and operator of the website searchstatenisland.com, and I do a lot of volunteer work for my community. I coach basketball, I coach baseball, but enough about the things that I do. Today, I'm really looking to try to give as much value to agents out there as humanly possible, because I'm starting to notice more and more things happening on a daily basis. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the topic that we started off this podcast with today has to do with agents and social media. Now, I've watched a lot of quote-unquote instructors talk about the ways to generate things on social media, right? Now, one of those things that people always tell you to do is the most obvious thing. Well, first get on social media, right? You can't start doing something until you're out there and actually doing it. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to go ahead and do it. But one of the things that I'm noticing, and not to pick on people, but, well, heck, what the heck? Who cares, right? This is the Gripe Session, and I am also known as the Rated R Realtor. But some of these quote-unquote instructors, as I like to affectionately refer to them as, who give these tips on social marketing and social media, have no followers whatsoever. They have no engagement on their own pages. And I find that quite frankly, amusing. But I really find amusing is the people that actually go out of their way to employ these individuals to give these wonderful presentations on social media marketing, right? But I digress. So that being said, I wanted to jump right into it because I've been getting a lot of friend requests. I've been getting a lot of page requests. And especially in LinkedIn, it seems like every time I get a new message in LinkedIn, 20 minutes later, I have not 20 minutes later, 20 seconds later, I get a instant message which says, "How can I be of help to you in your business today?" And that's just, ladies and gentlemen, that's just not it, right? Let's not forget what social media is really all about, okay? It's about being social, okay? It's about people knowing who you are and the fact that they know you, they like you, they trust you. Nobody is going to know you, like you, and trust you if within 30 seconds of sending them a friend request, blah, 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 blah. See, this is what happens. And this is real. This is what people want. When you send a friend request, there you go, 20 seconds or 30 seconds later, you're getting a sales pitch, okay? Now, people could say, well, George, if you don't ask the question, you're never going to know. And that's a fair point, and I'll give them that. But I'll ask you the question. If somebody sent you a friend request and 20 seconds later you got a a request to like their business or do this or do that. My question to you is, are you more or less likely to visit that business? Think about that for a second, right? If you say, I don't know this person from a hole in a wall, he's already asking me to like their business. What would you do in that scenario? So most people are not going to go and do it. Why? Because they don't know anything about you. They've never seen anything of the things that you post. They don't know if they're your kind of people. What do I mean by your kind of people? Look, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I'm the first guy to admit it. I get it. But a wise man once said, that's okay too. Because I only want to work with the people that want to work with me. They know who I am. They know my personality. They know, for lack of a better term, I'm Popeye. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. I'm not going to go out there and try to fake it and be this salesperson that's just completely not real. That's just not who I am, okay? And that's this kind of stuff, in my opinion, of what people want. Now, you could say, George, we don't agree with you, and that's okay, because you know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I will point this out as an example of what I'm talking about. Nowadays, what do people want more of? What I mean by that is, when you're watching your entertainment dollar, what are some of the most successful television shows to date? There's no new Seinfeld, there's no new Friends, there's no West Wing. I'm a West Wing wonk, so there's none of those shows. So what are the shows that have made people stars? Things like, whether you like them or don't, The Jersey Shore. How many people watch The Bachelor? Big Brother. All of these shows are what they call reality-based shows. Regular people. Now, an argument can be made that some of it's not really, real reality. Some of it's scripted to get them into fights and things of that nature. Okay, fine. That could be part of the case. But a lot of it is based off of reality-based people. So if these are the most popular types of things, wouldn't you think that right nowadays most of the general public and people in general want real stuff, real people? They want to see who you really are. And the big mistake that I'm seeing in the mortgage industry, in the real estate profession, and a lot of these other professions as well, is their social media presence is one person. And their regular presence is a completely different person. It's just two different people. I know of a lot of people that have a social media presence that is completely different from their personality. It's not even the same person. So, to me, that's where people are getting it wrong. And I believe that your social media presence should really not even be called a social media. It should really be called your reality media. Okay? I like that, reality media, as opposed to social media. Because after all, social media is really meant, if you look at what it was initially started off for, it was initially started off to get people to connect to one another and to meet and be social. And again, be real. How many dating sites are out there nowadays where they match people up with what they think is their perfect person? They match them up, right? Well, social media is the same thing. But the problem is most people are leaving reality out of the conversation. How many people go out there nowadays with Instagram and they put these filters on, and they have to get the right type of filter in order to, make sure I look good in this and look good in that and kind of go from there? Is that reality? No. What people want to see is your hair down. They want to see you not looking your best. Anybody can go out there and crop a photo and make something look really good and lighten this and do a little bit of that and make sure I'm all dressed before I do something. But here's the problem with all of that. It's just similar to people wanting to do video. Nobody wants to do video because they don't like the way they look. And I've heard this. I don't like the way I look on camera. Okay. Well, I don't like the way I sound, and they don't want to do a podcast. Okay. But here's the problem. They're setting their own appointments. They're being face to face with people and customers every day. What's the difference? Oh, it's a public persona. Oh, you're not talking to a member of the public? Of course you are. It's the silliest argument whatsoever, and quite frankly, the argument is really based out of fear. It's fear of not knowing how to do it. It's fear of worrying about what people are going to say about you. Listen, I've been doing my Facebook gripe sessions for years, and I have gotten nothing but flack from a lot of people. Because, let's be honest, I step on a lot of toes. It's just true. But for as many toes as I've stepped on, I have just as many people coming up to me, calling me, texting me, sending me direct messages or DMs, sliding into my DMs, and saying, you know what? Even if I don't agree with some of what you're saying, you're still the realest guy I know. You're going to lay your heart out on your sleeve, and you're going to tell the truth regardless of how that's going to affect you in any given way. Now, for a guy like me, I can appreciate that, because at the end of the day, what most people don't understand, and a lot of people have not understood, why am I doing these things? Why am I doing the Facebook Lives? Well, even though I haven't really done one in a while, although I did one for the end of the decade. You should check it out, or go to my YouTube channel and check out the last gripe session of the decade, but I digress. Why do I do podcasts? Why did I start this podcast? Okay? Now, part of it is to try to help the industries that I'm around. Try to help the real estate industry. Try to help the mortgage industry. Let's get a little bit more professional. Let's change the way the business is done. Okay? And there's ways of doing social media. You know, I watch every day when I go on my feed and on Facebook or on Instagram or something along those lines, and the only stuff some of my colleagues are posting is nothing but houses and real estate and houses and real estate and houses and mortgages and real estate. People want to know, what else do you do? Because I have news for you. There's a lot of us that are your colleagues that know you don't do that much business. And that old saying, fake it till you make it, is a problem. You know why? Because here's the thing. Everyone now has the data. If somebody really wanted to look you up and see what did you really have and what did you really close, guess what? They could. They could. So whoever you're taking this information from, understand one thing. The realest guy in the room, yours truly, is telling you there's nothing wrong with posting your photos of your houses, the fact that you're in real estate, and all of those other things. But here's the thing. Let's also post a little bit about your life. Let your hair down. Now, there are some times that people talk about they don't want to have their whole life and their whole family on social media. And I get it. And that's fine. I completely understand that. They don't want to have their kids on there because they have their own beliefs of that they don't want them exposed to it, or whatever it happens to be, security issues, et cetera, et cetera. That's completely fine. I know a lot of people that feel the exact same way. But show them the things you do every day. One of the things that the National Association of Realtors has come out with recently is a campaign about that's who we are. Show them your story, as John Smaby, our 2019 president, came out with this theme for his year. Show them your story. Tell them who you are. Now, granted, some of you might not want people to know who you are, and that's a completely different conversation altogether. But guess what? There's going to be people that like who you are. Okay? Now, granted, it may be a few people, or, in my case, it might be a very select few people. But at the end of the day, let them know who you are. People will respect you more. They know what they're getting when they get you. And that's what you want. That's really what you want. And that's really what the goals of social media really should be, is to connect to people and stop selling people 20 minutes after you become a friend or an acquaintance, if you will, because they're not really friends. Some of them is like, okay, we have 5 mutual friends. Let me connect to you and let me see if I could sell your product. I could tell you what happens when that with me. Almost immediately. Somebody does that with me and they immediately ask me to like their page. And what ends up happening is delete. Unfriend. That's it. You're done. That's just what I do. If you're going to sell me within the first 5 minutes of being a friend, sorry. You're not here to find out what I'm doing. You're not here to be a positive influence on me, where I want to take my life, what do I want to do, my goals, my family's goals, all of those types of things. You're just looking to supplement your pocket. And people see right through that, especially yours truly, because I see it way too much. I'm not about it saying that you shouldn't be asking people for business, 1,000%. Not at all. What I'm saying, though, is there's a way to do it. You don't ask for business right away. One of the things that Gary Vee says is, you know what? If you're not contributing or responding to people on social media in regards to what they're doing, as the expression goes, he wrote a book, jab, 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 right hook. You got to be jabbing before you throw it. There's too many people throwing right hooks before they're thrown. They're throwing the right hook first. They're trying to hit that Cinderella bomb. But the problem is with some of us, once you throw that bomb and miss, you just got knocked out, because now you're not connecting now. So you're making a fatal mistake in the things that you're doing. So that's what I wanted to leave everybody with today, only because it started to become, once the new year hits, I noticed that I was inundated with friend requests. And after the first 7 or 8 that I had accepted, I literally got 7 or 8, page requests to like my page. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, okay, I don't know if you listen to this podcast. I don't know if you just picked me from a mutual friend or something along those lines. But see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. You're out. That's it. So, and that was a delete block. So I thought that this would be a really good topic to start off today, because what happens is everybody in the new year, they want to try to start doing new things. I'm not telling you to stop making connections. So let's not get this twisted. What I'm telling you today is make your connections, but contribute some value to people. Don't make it all be about your business, mortgage business, real estate business, etc. Let people know who you are. Let people know what you're interested in doing. You like getting baseball cards. You like flipping. You like, running. You're a workout enthusiast. You knit. Whatever your thing is, you like pets. There's a spot for you to contribute something. So find what that spot is, and don't make it all about you and your business. So that's what I'm going to leave you, ladies and gentlemen, with today. I want to thank you for listening, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Well, that's it for another edition of the Gripe Session podcast. I want to thank you for listening today. I do really appreciate it. Hey, do me a favor. If you found some sort of value today, whether it's a little bit, one thing or another thing, it doesn't make a difference what it really is. Do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button on the bottom over there. And do me a favor, go on your iTunes, if that's where you're listening to. Give me a little bit of a rate and review. As well as, do me a favor, reach out to me on social media. Find me on Instagram at the Gripe Session Podcast. I'm also on Facebook at the Gripe Session Podcast. There's a page on Facebook as well. Hit me up, say, hey, George, like what you're doing, appreciate you, and go from there. I really appreciate you. I'm also on TikTok as well, so you can find me at George S. Wanaker on TikTok as well. So that's all we got for today. Hopefully you have a great day. Do something nice that you wouldn't normally do, and we'll catch you on the next edition of The Gripe Session. Take care.
Thanks for listening to The Gripe Session. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.